going to get started here. My name's Alison Chew. Thank you for coming and for making it to the very end of the conference. Today I'm going to talk to you about picking the right type of influencers and then closing that loop on data. But first, can anyone tell me what this is? Anyone? Thank you, fidget spinner. The fidget spinner entered my life via my 6-year-old son in April, and I still don't really know what it does. But I found the history of the fidget spinner kind of cool, so I'd like to share that with you. The fidget spinner, the first prototype, was actually developed in 1993 by a woman named Catherine Hedinger. She then got a patent for that in 1997. She tried to sell it to Hasbro and other toy companies with no luck. And then really nothing happened between 1997 and September of 2016. In September of 2016, two brothers out of Denver started a Kickstarter. They wanted to raise $15,000 for something called a fidget cube, which is basically an acceptable toy that you can bring into the office, but because they're calling it a fidget cube, it's okay. Guess how much money they actually raised for that Kickstarter? Anybody? Take a guess. More than $20. Good one, though. Anybody? $6 million. So there are obviously people out there, a lot of people, that thought, this is kind of a good idea. Well, Forbes agreed, and in December of last year, they wrote an article about the best office toys for 2017, and they included a fidget spinner. Between December and March, there were a couple things happening. Number one, toy companies started to make these fidget spinners. But the second thing that was happening was that YouTube and Reddit, they were filling up with fidget spinner tips, fidget spinner hacks, fidget spinner reviews. You name it, it was happening. Slowly but surely, those influencers were talking about this new trend. Some people love it, some people hate it. And in March of this past year, and this is a Google timeline, this is for the search word fidget spinner, you'll see that in March of this year, they really started gaining momentum. By the end of March, mainstream media picked it up. You see it all over. Celebrities in April, their kids' fidget spinners are taking over. Amazon at one point, 18 to 19, depending if you're counting the fidget cube, those toys were on their top 20 seller list at one point. Crazy. This momentum can all be tracked back to these influencers that were slowly but surely picking it up and talking about this thing. So, sharing that story, linking back to influencers, when you think about creating your influencer campaign, whether you're new to influencer marketing or you've run a number of campaigns, you first want to think about the type of influencer. The type of influencer you want to work with, and we bucket them into size. So, of course, there's the Kim Kardashians of the world, Lauren Conrad, Selena Gomez. These are all your celebrity influencers, right? Millions and millions of followers because they're super popular, they're on TV, they're on movies, they're really expensive. Then you have your macro influencers, and these are kind of like the celebrities of the influencer world. Brian Kelly, he's the points guy. He's also an affiliate. He, too, has a lot of followers, and they want to know specifically for him where he's going and where you can spend your points and your miles. And then we have our micro influencers. This is Taylor Walker. We actually worked with her on a fitness campaign. They have a lot less followers, but you'll see on our next slide, and we're going to focus on micro-influencers for today, that you really get a lot of bang for your buck. If you wanted to work with Kim Kardashian or if you want to work with a macro-influencer, you can go through an agent or an agency. But micro-influencers, there's a lot of them, and they are amazing. So we're going to focus on them. So a micro-influencer. Again, they have fewer followers, usually between 10,000 and 100,000 or 10,000 and 250,000. They have a very loyal following. These people check in with them, sometimes on a daily basis, to see where they're going, what they're doing, what they're wearing, where they're eating, depending on what niche they're really specialized in. They're also cost-effective when you think about, obviously, comparing it to somebody like Kim Kardashian, where you could pay $500,000 for an Instagram post. And they have better engagement. Studies have shown that as reach increases, engagement decreases. And when influencer marketing started becoming more and more popular, people wanted reach. They're like, we're going to reach 10 million people. Whoa, look at that. And then brands started thinking, okay, we reached 10 million people, maybe. That's potential reach. But what happened? What did that do? So then people were focused on engagement. They want to see, okay, are they engaging with that content? That shows intent. They're liking, sharing, commenting. And so micro-influencers, they have a better engagement rate. They're smaller. They're more engaged with their followers. They also have higher conversions because of that higher engagement. And then finally, it's easier to enforce FTC regulations, which if you're not enforcing any sort of FTC disclosure policy, you need to be. It could come back on you. So when you start your influencer campaign, forget about reach for right now. Really think about the type of influencer that will be good for your brand, your product, your service. Think about what they've talked about. Look back on prior posts. Look at what's really resonating with their followers, what their followers are reacting to. And that will be a good indication if your product or service is similar as the kind of the response that you might receive. Look at geography. Some brands only ship to the US, and you could partner with an influencer that's in Canada or Australia, and maybe their followers are too in Canada or Australia. So you want to make sure that's a fit as well. Look at the quality of their posts and look back at their history of posting and make sure it's consistent and aligned with your brand standards. You never want to be surprised. Look at their engagement rate and again, what their followers are engaging with. And of course, make sure you don't see any crazy posts with 1,000 likes and no comments, that they're probably paid likes and you want to stay away from them. And then look at the channels that they're on. You might be focused on DIY. Pinterest might be a big part of your influencer strategy. You might find a great influencer on Instagram. You want to engage with them, but they're not on Pinterest for some reason. So you want to make sure that the influencers are on channels that you want to be on. But that's only part of the puzzle. So you need to also think about the goals of your campaign. And whether you are looking for top of funnel, so potential reach and engagements, or you're looking for content to reuse on your own blog or social media channels, or maybe you're looking for sales, we suggest having one primary goal, and it'll make sense in a little bit. If you have too many goals, a primary goal, second goal, maybe a third goal, things are going to get a little bit messy, and your expectations as an influencer, that message might get mixed up, and then they might not know how to your campaign, and they might not meet your expectations, and then you could get frustrated and say, well, that didn't work. Having one clear goal is really important. Next, think about compensation. You might have a budget in mind. You can pay out on a flat fee, which is very popular, of course. Giving away free product works as well. Some influencers will work, especially micro-influencers, will work for free product, which is great. And then you can also think about paying on performance, which this is where the trends are going. More and more people are paying on performance or a hybrid of a flat fee plus performance. And that performance could be a cost per engagement, could be a cost per click. You want them to drive some traffic, could be a cost per lead, cost per sale, you name it, but more and more brands are trying to drive down the funnel. Next, and different from compensation, so that's what you're giving them. This is what you're arming them with, right? You need to help them help you reach your goals. You can't just expect You know, an influencer, you give them a pair of shoes and then suddenly they know all about your brand. You really need to arm them with something special, something unique. Usually works really well, especially if you have a low budget. Giving them something that no one else has. Sometimes they'll work with you just for that. So you can give them something exclusive. You can give them coupon codes, of course. Giveaway. A lot of influencers love to host giveaways, right? Because it's something special for only their followers. Giving them insider information, or maybe you're a brand, you're based in New York, you want to work with some New York-based influencers, bring them into your office, treat them to lunch and a tour. They get a great brand experience. So again, we'll talk about this, but this is going to align with your goals and your overall strategy. But you need to arm them with something that's going to help them help you reach your goals. And then finally, you should think about content creation. What are you going to ask them to do for you? Is it a couple of Instagram posts with photos? They might need to go out and work with a professional photographer and set up that photo shoot. Maybe it's a long-form blog post that will take them several hours. Maybe you'll ask to edit it, although I wouldn't really recommend that. Or maybe it's a 2-minute YouTube video, an unboxing or a review. When you think about what you want them to create, also think about how much time and effort it's going to take them to actually create this content. I think sometimes we underestimate that. We're like, it's a 2-minute YouTube video. Like, it took them, 5 minutes to put together? No, I mean, 2-minute YouTube video could take 10 hours for them to put together. A photo shoot costs them time, costs them money. So think about those things before you think about your campaign. So they're the campaign basics. The tricky part is aligning them. And I think most of us can come up with those basics. We'll have our checklist. But sometimes they're out of whack, and that will cause some confusion or a campaign to not be successful. So when you think about your goals, you could have your top of funnel goal, that's your potential reach, goes down to engagements, bottom of funnel sales, and then that content that you're giving. Again, this isn't compensation yet, this is what you're arming them with, right? So if your goal is engagements, think about what can you give them that's going to help them, besides a great call to action, engage with their users. A giveaway is a great idea. And you can work that call to action around that giveaway. So hey, like me and like X brand to be entered in this giveaway. Whoa, you just increased your followers, they increased their followers, and their users get a chance to win something. It's amazing. Next, think about compensation and goal alignment. So really ask yourself, is what you're asking them to do align with what you're able to offer them, what you're able to pay them either in that flat fee, that free product, or if you're paying them on performance? This slide's a little bit busy, but bear with me here. So in a nutshell, on the influencer reach, if you're working with Kim Kardashian and you're asking her to do a 10-minute YouTube video, you're paying her a lot of money, millions of dollars. So keep that in mind, and again, extreme example. If what you're asking them to do takes a lot of time and effort, the compensation needs to align. You're not going to give somebody a pair of $25 shoes and they're going to create posts for you for the next year. Just doesn't make sense. So a couple examples. Reach. If your goal is reach, there's a couple different things you can do. You can work with one really, really big influencer, or you can work with, or you can work with 20 or 30 smaller influencers. Really depends on your goal and your budget. If sales is your goal, which is becoming more and more popular, of course, these influencers, they're top of funnel, right? They're at that discovery phase. And just because, again, you give them a pair of shoes doesn't suddenly turn them into retail me not, right? So you need to arm them with something that's going to help them drive their readers down the funnel and want to make that conversion. So the best thing that we could think of is an exclusive, best of web, time-sensitive offer. You're thinking, oh my gosh, why would I give that? That's something very, very specific, and I don't give exclusives. Well, if your goal is sales, you're going to need to help them convert some way. It's been said that it takes 6 times for somebody to see a new product or service before they actually want to convert. So you need to give them something that's going to really drive down the funnel if your expectation is sales. That's not to say you won't generate any sales, but you really need to help them help you. If your goal is content, influencers are amazing content creators. Whether you want to reuse images on your blog or social media, what you can pay a micro-influencer and the content that they can create, well, chances are, I'm 99% sure, it will be less than what you would pay if you went out and had a photo shoot and put that together. They can create some amazing content. What you want to look at when you're partnering with influencers for content specifically is you really need to do your homework and make sure they have a history of consistently creating high quality content that meets your brand standards, of course. Let's talk about closing the loop on tracking. Now that we have our campaign basics down, we've aligned everything so that we're going to have a successful campaign. Now we need to make sure that we're tracking not only top of funnel, potential reach and engagements, but we're also closing that loop on tracking, which has been a challenge. No matter what your goal is, having more data is really important. It's important for this current campaign that you're running, and it's also important to use that data for future campaigns to help you make strategic choices. So the challenge in the past has been tracking everything from potential views to engagement, to clicks, to orders. It's a struggle. So we're going to break it down into kind of top of funnel and bottom of funnel. So there's a couple ways you can track reach and engagement. Manually, if anyone has ever manually tracked an influencer campaign using an Excel spreadsheet, you enter in your influencers, you put in their channels, you have all their metrics, then they post, and you go to all those channels and you say, okay, 5 likes on that one, they share, okay, they got 2 shares, 3 comments, and you put it in your Excel spreadsheet, and it is very, very labor intensive. It is a very manual process, and if you want to do anything like that at scale, it's going to take some time. So your next option is to work with an influencer network. There are a ton of influencer networks or influencer platforms out there. I would say all of them that I know of track potential reach and engagements for you, meaning that when someone posts, they start, the meter starts running. They say, okay, here's your fancy report. You have clicks, you have likes, you have comments, you have shares, and you have that all for you. That costs money. So obviously, if you have someone that can put in the time to do the manual reporting, that's great. If you don't, you may want to consider some sort of influencer network or influencer platform. Next, tracking sales. We've all done this. Easy way, UTM parameters. You can tack them onto links that you're giving influencers. You can easily track sales. Bit of a manual process. It's not perfect. Coupon codes. You can also assign influencers. Each influencer gets a specific coupon code. If you have coupon code tracking on your site, run a report. You can see, okay, influencer X, they generated this, and so on. Another way to track sales, SMS marketing, that's becoming, of course, it's super popular. It's becoming more and more popular as a tracking mechanism within influencer marketing, specifically around Instagram. You give somebody a code. Instagram, you don't have any clickable links in the post, so if you give somebody a code, they can then text, they receive a discount code back. You can track all of that. Of course, technology integration, there's a fee for all of this. And then finally, you can track through your affiliate program, why we're all here today. And you can ask influencers, hey, I have my great affiliate program. Would you like to sign up for that? Pros and cons to that as well. Some influencers say, I don't know about affiliate marketing, or it's too much work. I don't know if I want to do that, sign up for all these networks and all these programs, a lot to manage. But I will say that this is becoming more and more popular. Last year, not so much. This year, definitely. An influencer marketing platform just put out a survey. It was Activate by Blog Lovin', sorry. They surveyed 500 of their influencers and asked them, how are you monetizing your blogs? And 61% said affiliate marketing, which at this time last year, that number would have been much, much less. So this is becoming more common, which is great. So how do we combine these, right? You have your top of funnel, you have your bottom of funnel. Well, you simply, pick either that manual reporting or that influencer network. You combine it with that sales tracking, those UTM parameters, the SMS, the coupon codes, or affiliate marketing. You combine them and you close the loop on tracking. Is it perfect? No, not yet, but I am absolutely hopeful that it's going in that direction, and we'll soon be able to have either through an affiliate network or an influencer network, something that kind of closes that full loop. But we're getting there. There's more and more potential there for sure. So to recap, pick out the type of influencers that you're looking for. Make sure they're aligned with your brand. Define your goals and your compensation. Figure out what you're going to arm those influencers with, and then what type of content you'd like them to create. And then close that loop on tracking. And there's a number of different ways you can do that. And more data is better. So potential reach, engagements, clicks, orders, sales will all be super important to you, and you can learn from all of that data for your next campaign. So back to the fidget spinner, just an update. I don't know if you know this, but Catherine Hettinger, the woman who developed the first prototype for the fidget spinner, she unfortunately did not renew her patent. She did not. That patent ran out in 2005, and so she is not living large right now. But she started a Kickstarter, and you guys can go and invest if you want. She started a Kickstarter, and I think as of Friday it was up to like $12,000. So not doing as well as the original one. But it was all tied. That momentum was all tied back to influencers. So maybe she'll make some money, and influencers will get on board with her idea and make it work. And that is all I have. So I'm happy to take any questions if you have some questions. Yeah.
So you're talking about flat fees and working with micro influencers and different performance, anything performance. How do you, even some micro influencers kind of have this model, you know where I'm going, this model that they work on flat fee or paid placement. How do you work with them to understand potential for them that maybe performance-based mixed with something else could potentially be better for them, or that kind of educate them that it's going to be going more towards a performance-based system in the future?
So I don't know if you heard the question. It was basically these micro-influencers, they kind of have their rack rates, their rate cards, right? And they say, here you go, this is what I charge. And I think it's about developing those relationships and having those conversations. Usually not over and really saying, hey, we have a great brand. This is the story that we're trying to tell. This is why we think you are an amazing partner. And here's what we have to offer. And maybe, instead of committing to one post, maybe you say, okay, we'll do a series of posts, which is a better idea anyway. We'll do a series of posts over the next 6 months. We're going to send you products for you to review in your own time. You pick and choose, and really create a good partnership and get them excited. I mean, I talked about what you're going to arm them with. Maybe say, hey, and we'll let you do a giveaway each of those 6 months, and we'll give away X to 10 of your followers, whatever that is. We'll give you an exclusive. Move over. Okay. We'll give you an exclusive code. Really make them feel special. Give them something special. Give them something unique. And chances are they'll say, okay, wow, you're really making an effort. You seem to really want to work with me. And here's what I can do for you, right? And, influencer marketing, it's It's not a flip of a switch, right? If you've ever done it, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of communication back and forth. That's after you've narrowed down your influencers. A lot of communication back and forth. But because of that, you develop these amazing relationships, and chances are you do that, and maybe they throw in extra Instagram post or extra tweet or Facebook post or something like that once you have that relationship. Yeah. Anything else? Yep, go ahead.
Bring more of both. Right? I think that advertisers are probably still hesitant to some degree because it's still fairly new, and then influencers probably have feature requests that may or may not be there because there may have not been as much demand for them. So are there things that you're seeing that you think would help bring more from both sides to sort of the influencer space?
I think making that communication as easy and seamless as possible is really important, and we're seeing that in the space right now. Closing that loop on data, the more data, the better. Even if your goals are engagement, having more data is better. So I would say, and we primarily work on the brand side, so what our brands are saying is definitely that communication piece, which they're relying on us for. So that's a big pain point for us. Definitely very, very time consuming. And then that tracking piece again, and I think for influencers, I'm hoping that they want to see that too, right? They want to know how they perform, and they want to know, okay, here are my clear goals. Can I do it? And was I successful? After campaigns, I hear from influencers all the time, I'd love to do more. What else can I do? What can I do? And they're they want to do more, and they want to work with brands. And so saying, hey, you did a great job with this, and this is how successful it was, I think is really important to share that data. Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, over here.
So I'm brand new to influencer marketing. I'm introducing this into my company as an advertiser. Okay. And what I wanted your thoughts on were some of the best practices for kind of recruiting the influencers, getting them up to speed, and showing some initial kind of ROI so that we can extend and get them to really invest in it. Because these guys are used to kind of paying for what they're already getting. You know what I mean?
Right, and I think that's, again, about these genuine conversations, not using a templated, canned, email, right? Being genuine and actually looking at their social channels, looking at their Instagram, looking at don't suddenly follow them on Instagram and then 5 minutes later send them an email. Oh, hey, love what, you don't need to kind of troll them and stalk them, right? You need just to be a person, need to be authentic, need to say, wow, you posted this content. I think it's really amazing. This is what we're doing. Can we have a conversation? Forget the money for now. Just can we have a conversation to see if this is a good partnership? And then, do you have any ideas? Like they're the influencer, right? What have you been doing? And here are our ideas. And really kind of having that conversation. And then as far as, immediate ROI, that's tricky. Again, they're not retail me not. You're not saying, oh, hey, come to my program. Here's a coupon. Boom. And they blow it up. Think of it. Are you an affiliate? No. Oh, okay. Do you have an affiliate program? Okay. So it's similar. Influencers and bloggers, those content affiliates, they're content creators, right? They're the same thing. They're just monetizing their content in different ways. And there's crossover. We have affiliates that are influencers, influencers that are affiliates. They're content creators. It's, just like if they had a display ad on their site, maybe they're running display, they have affiliate links, they have sponsored posts, they have influencer posts. I mean, just different revenue streams. So same thing with content affiliates who, you'll see, right? It takes a little bit of time, and they're at the top of the funnel versus eBay, it's a retail me not, who's at the bottom of funnel, right? So really depends on your goals and your expectations. If, right off the bat, if you run an influencer campaign I don't know, it takes you 10 weeks to run it. You're working with 20 influencers. 2 weeks later, you look at the results, like, we didn't make, $25,000 in sales. What went wrong? I think you need to kind of go back to those slides and think, was everything aligned? Did I give them something? What did I arm them with to help them convert? Did I talk through a call to action? Really, was everything aligned? And really think about that.
Hi, Allison.
Hi.
I'm Melissa. I'm with Indie.com. We work with you guys. We're a influencer network. So I wanted to speak to one of the questions of maybe challenges coming from a influencer network perspective. For me, two things. One is as we're working with a bunch of different brands, large and small, it seems to be a concern of who's going to own influencer marketing. It's definitely what's the topic internally.
Yeah.
Yep. So you've got, PR groups that would manage bloggers, and that's earned media, but now they're monetizing traffic. So it's turning into paid media through affiliate networks. So you've got affiliate managers, and then of course social because of your social reach. So that's the one thing is I think more and more brands are going to start, allocating a resource to influencer marketing. And then as far as tracking, that's the great thing, about, at least with our platform, is that we can track across all social networks for influencers and for brands. So that's where we're kind of here, talking to everybody. But I also want to say, I loved your points about the high profile influencer versus the micro, because we do believe everybody is an influencer and turning customers into influencers. So your presentation was on point.
Thanks.
Thank you.
There's a fourth set of influencers, and they're all you guys, friends and family. My 6-year-old, he heard about that fidget spinner from somebody. Just like when he comes home and he says something new, I'm like, who told you that? Who'd you get that from? They're all influencers, large and small.
What's the best or most common or most popular platforms for finding influencers?
Can't speak to that one. When we were looking for an influencer network to partner with, I had some very specific requirements. I vetted probably 10 or 15 at the time, and this was last year. I think it really depends on your goals. There's a number out there. It really depends. Do you want them to manage your program for you? There's a lot of influencer networks and platforms that will manage campaigns on your behalf. There's networks that will offer self-serve, so they're technology partners, right? So you just you manage your own campaigns. They'll connect you with influencers. There's networks that will scrape influencers, and then there's other networks who are opt-in. So there's a ton of different options out there, and I think it really depends on your budget, what your goals are, how often you're going to be running influencer campaigns. So there's a lot of different, I don't think there's a one out there. Sorry. The affiliate networks?
No.
The influencer networks?
Social networks.
Oh, like Facebook or Instagram.
This happens on the platform, and they're getting nothing out of it.
They're getting nothing out of it. But, to me, and it's so funny, I had this conversation a couple of days ago. Same thing. Facebook owns Instagram. They make their money through sponsored ads, right? Those paid ads. Affiliates post on social media all the time and have been for many, many years. And again, they're just content creators, right? They should, of course, have FTC disclosures, and Instagram's coming out with their new sponsor. It'll say this post is sponsored by Adidas. And that will be kind of their FTC disclosure to let you know, hey, Adidas either gave me something for free or paid me. So that's kind of a better FTC disclosure. But as far as kind of cashing in, and who knows, I don't know. But, to me, that's kind of like WordPress saying, oh, you're using my platform for your blog, so I'm going to take a piece of your affiliate revenue. That hasn't happened yet either. So I don't know. I've heard, some don't love affiliate links. You know, some Facebook, Instagram don't love affiliate links. Some don't love short links. Some will, you know, manipulate placements based on short links or affiliate links or various tracking that you try to put in links and they'll break them. So I think that's happening, whether or not it's because they're mad or or they want a piece of that, I don't know. But I know that tracking is definitely a struggle on those social platforms because of some of that that's happening. All right. We made it. Affiliate Summities, done. Thank you.